Hello, friends. Good day is in a section here with me, and so I woke up this morning actually, and I had this word that came into my mind, and it was something that I think relates to me, and probably to someone who's going to watch this today, or anytime is going to be online here. So it says, your weakness makes you unique. You are strong in your weakness. This is because your weakness. What do you think makes you weak? Is because whatever you think makes you weak is because you have decided to use this or to identify this as your weakness. God is aware of everything happening in your life, and God has never said that anything is your weakness. So, what makes us weak, or what do we think that one thing, a particular character, or whatever, becomes a weakness is because we have studied it and categorized it as weakness. Now, if you look through the book of Second Corinthians and verse 12, Paul was talking about him being able to boast in his weakness. And then if you go to 12:9, he says this. Let me just pull it out. He says in 12:9, he says, but he said to me, okay, let's read from 8. 3 times I plead with the Lord about this, that he should leave me. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in your weakness. My power is made perfect in your weakness. And there he says, therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weakness, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Now, this last part, everybody knows this. The last part of for Second Corinthians 12 verse 9, it says, verse 10, sorry, it says, but when I am weak, I am strong. Now, Paul was probably complaining to himself, probably having revelation about what exactly is going on, what he sees as his weakness, right? His weakness was that he was in prison, he was being persecuted, calamities. He never knew the outcome, but to him, he felt that there was a weakness and something had become like an obstacle. Now, most times in our lives, we see things as weaknesses. Sometimes we say, if I was born into a healthy, wealthy family, I would have been successful. If I had just gone to the university, if I'd studied abroad, if I had married, someone, if I was white, if I was black, if I was this. So we bring up excuses for not being able to perfect or reach a certain goal in our lives. If I'd had the job of McDonald's, if I'd worked at Chase Bank, if I'd worked at, we all bring up some kind of excuses and make them seem to be our weaknesses. But do we know, or do you know, that God has not created you with any weak spot? God created you perfectly. The book of Genesis says, and he created you perfect, and you are perfect, and you are a peculiar people. You are a sound person. You are created in his image and his likeness. That means there is nothing in you that is imperfect. There's nothing in you that is weak, that amounts to weakness. But what happens is we decide to make something our weakness. Either we are comparing with other people, either we are trying to impress other people, either we're trying to impress ourselves, either we're trying to justify the situation we find ourselves in. We say, we are weak. Now, if you look through the Bible, you see a lot of people with the weakness that have really, even in the moment of their weakness, they did tremendous things. What we're talking about? We have Nimrod. Nimrod was actually a soldier, and I believe that he lost his right hand during the war, but he had his left hand. Now, the Roman soldiers, most Roman soldiers were not left-handed. They were all right-handed. So Nimrod was a soldier who was left-handed, and one single stroke, he killed the wicked king and saved the Israelites from a king. What else? We're talking about weakness. Moses said he was weak. He couldn't speak, that he was stammering. Oh, okay. Is that your excuse? I will give you something else. Throw down your staff. The staff turned into snake. Pick it up. It turned back into a staff. Oh, I'm weak. I can't speak. I'm stammering. I have a problem with speech. Oh, don't worry about that. Here you have Aaron, who's going to be your help. What else? We have a lot of stories like that. Joseph thought his ability to see as a prophet, as a seer, to see dreams, to interpret dreams was his weakness, because he believed that the moment he told that to his brothers, he was sold into slavery. But how many of you knew that that was his strength? That was his strength, because the ability to see, ability to discern the future made him the second person in Egypt. There are a lot of people in the Bible you see that were kind of David. Look at David. I want to believe that David did not just walk into the camp of the Israelites and just walk broad-chested down to Goliath. No, I believe that there were moments while he was skinny, he was small, he was afraid. I believe that David was afraid, because even everyone was saying, hey, you are too small. Everyone is telling him you were too small. Not until he heard about the prize he was going to get, then courage came. I believe at that moment, God told him, even in your weakness, you are strong, because I have made you perfect, and my power is perfect, is sufficient enough for you in your weakness. David was small. There was no way whatsoever, as a soldier, strategically, tactically, even with a common sense, there was no way David would have won Goliath. But even Goliath thought that David was weak. He wasn't even ready. He wasn't even ready because he knew that David was not up to the standards. Now, get it. When you think you are weak, or when you accept you are weak, you cannot see the power of God working in you. But when you see the power of God working in you, the world is not even ready to see what you are able to do, because you will be able to do great things, and no one expected that from you. I believe that when Goliath was dying, he was a shock. He was oh my God, shoot, this small boy killed me. He was shocked. So how about today, me and you stop giving excuses of what makes us weak? How about me and you today stop giving excuses of what would make us fail? How about we stop giving excuses of what makes us different? How about we stop giving excuses of what we think if we have had that, we would have been more successful than we are today? How about we stop giving excuses that the system is bad? How about we stop giving excuses that my church is bad? How about we stop giving excuses that I was born in the wrong family? How about we stop giving excuses that I'm living in the wrong country? How about we start using the power of God? Paul says, for when I am weak, I am strong. God says the perfection. He says, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in your weakness. And that is it. The moment you know you need God, at the moment of your weakness, your vulnerability, you know you need God. That is when you see the speedy power of God action. When you know you need God. How many of you understand that if you do not need God, you cannot see the power of God, the perfect power of God at work? You can't see it. But when you know you need God, there is a need of God. There is a want of God in everything we do, in our lives, at work, at church, and our families. There is a need for God, because without God, we remain imperfect. But with God, we walk in the perfection of His abilities and powers. So what I'm just trying to say today, just a little bit, be very energetic, because this is a word for me this morning. I think I received it. I know a woman who is a great businesswoman today, and she is deaf. She can't even speak clearly, but she walks with people. She has to interact with people and talk to people, and she is successful. Why? Because even in her moment of weakness, she sees God pumping power in her. So I want you to take that aspect of your life, a character, a trait, whatever that you think is your weakness, take it to God, and God will make it strong. He says He will make your weakness your strength. He will make your weakness your power. He will make you successful in anything you do. Listen to this. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in your weakness. And Paul says, for when I am weak, he says, for the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardship, persecutions, calamity. For when I am weak, I am strong. I am not promoting a weakness. I am not promoting persecution. I am not promoting hardship. But what I'm promoting is God at power and at work, even during the time of your weakness. God bless you.